Leo was the king's most trusted personal guard. He survived the monotony of his post with court gossip. A duchess brought a potent broth for the king's vigor. Leo kept his face a mask of indifference. His mind, however, was a whirlwind of mockery. He wondered if the king truly needed such a remedy. Did the demands of his powerful position wear him down? Or was it something far more personal and embarrassing? The next moment, he felt a cold stare fixated on him. It was the king's piercing gaze of death. Leo was once a character with no lines. This was a story of romance and political intrigue. It involved a sweet, unassuming new lady at court. She would accidentally meet King Julian in the gardens. The king would be immediately captivated by her. A difficult but sweet courtly drama would then unfold. The two of them would eventually find their happiness. Leo's role in this tale was almost non-existent. He possessed formidable skills in combat. He had been with Julian since his days as the crown prince. But after the new lady's appearance, Leo was merely a messenger. He was a tool to summon the object of the king's affection. He felt less like a protector. He felt more like a highly trained butler. An aide's voice broke his train of thought. He announced that Lady Cassandra had arrived. Julian simply gestured for her to be admitted. He never looked up from the state documents on his desk. Soon, a lavishly dressed woman entered the room. She carried an ornate thermal container in her hands. She offered a deep curtsy to the king. Julian told her to rise. Cassandra placed the container on a nearby table. She opened it to reveal a bowl of steaming soup. As Julian's guard, Leo had to perform his duties. He produced a silver needle to test the contents for poison. This was a standard procedure for anyone working near the king. After the test, he returned to his position beside Julian. His expression was unchanged. Inwardly, he was convulsing with laughter. This special vitality broth was known for its effects. The king needed a supplement to maintain his strength. The many ladies of the court surely required his attention. Perhaps he needed the help. But his nightly visits were always brief. Leo speculated that maybe the king's reputation was exaggerated. The thought was deeply amusing to him. Julian's hand paused over a document. He slowly lifted his head. Leo immediately felt an intense, frigid stare upon him. A knot of anxiety formed in his stomach. What had he done wrong? He could not think of any misstep. He prided himself on his professionalism around the king. His mind raced. He met Julian's eyes and spoke in the same instant. He informed the king the soup was safe. He noted that Lady Cassandra's offering was quite potent. It was known to be very beneficial for one's health. He suggested that perhaps the king should try it. As he spoke, Lady Cassandra's face lit up with hope. Leo glanced at her and felt a pang of pity. She went to such lengths for the king's favor. He mused on her dedication to a king so famously brisk. She was truly devoted. He barely finished the thought when he felt Julian's gaze sharpen. It had become even colder than before. Cassandra urged Julian to taste the soup. She explained that she had been simmering it for hours. Her voice was soft and alluring. She was the very picture of delicate beauty. Leo watched the performance with detached interest. Julian rose from his desk. He walked toward the table where the soup sat. He looked at Cassandra's beaming face. He began to say she was thoughtful. Leo's mind scoffed at the entire scene. He knew her maids had prepared the broth. He also knew Cassandra was not a virtuous lady. Just last night she spoke ill of the king to her lover. The poor king was being played for a fool. Leo suppressed a roll of his eyes. Suddenly, Julian's voice cut off. The expression on his face was a fascinating mix of colors. It shifted from red to a pale shade of green. Cassandra watched him with confused anticipation. She waited for him to finish his sentence. Leo was also quite curious. He enjoyed watching the powerful being made into fools. A vein throbbed on Julian's temple. His half-open mouth trembled slightly. He inexplicably shot a glare at Leo. Leo was baffled. What had he done today? He was behaving just as he always did. He could not understand why Julian was glaring at him. Julian saw Leo's polite, professional smile. He put the bowl of soup back down on the table. He told Cassandra her gesture was appreciated, but he stated that he had no appetite today. He dismissed her. Then he ordered Leo to take the soup to the side kitchen. Leo had been ready for some drama. This was not the direction he had expected. Julian was supposed to drink the soup. Then he would visit Cassandra's chambers that night. Not only was Leo surprised, but Cassandra was also stunned. Leo wanted to see the story unfold properly. He spoke up carefully. He reminded the king that the lady had spent hours on the soup. He called it a token of her sincere affection. Julian walked over to stand directly in front of him. The sheer force of his royal presence was overwhelming. He asked Leo if he would prefer to be king instead. He questioned when a servant began instructing him. Leo's body reacted faster than his mind. He dropped to his knees in an instant. He assured the king he would never dare. He promised to take the soup away immediately. An old saying came to mind. Serving a king was like living with a tiger. He truly feared he might lose his head one day. He appeared to leave with his head bowed, holding the soup. But in reality, he crouched by the door to watch. With Leo gone, Cassandra's composure crumbled. She pleaded with the king. She reminded him how long it had been since his last visit. She even mentioned that her dog, a gift from him, missed him terribly. The dog's name was Daisy. Cassandra's father was Julian's tutor when he was a prince. Julian had known Cassandra since childhood. He knew of her love for dogs. He gave her the puppy when she first came to court. Julian replied that he was busy with state affairs. He promised to visit when he had more time. He delivered the line without even looking up. The excuse was painfully obvious to anyone. Yet these ladies seemed blind to his disinterest. Cassandra asked if he really meant it. She promised to wait for him at her residence. Seeing her bright smile, Leo couldn't help but chuckle softly. He wondered who she was truly waiting for. Her secret lover, perhaps. Julian's reputation was being tarnished without his knowledge. The king's mouth twitched. His eyes darted towards Leo's hiding spot. Leo quickly ducked back, hoping he had not been seen. He had been gone for a while. Perhaps it was time to return. He brushed some imaginary dust off his uniform. Then he walked back into the grand study. Seeing him, Cassandra regained her formal demeanor. She took her leave without another word. Silence returned to the room. Leo stood dutifully behind Julian. The king worked on his documents. Leo silently read over his shoulder, processing the information. A delegation from the west was coming. He hoped they would bring their delicious fruit. The annual autumn retreat was approaching. He remembered bagging a large buck last year. The king had asked what prize he wanted. He had foolishly declined. This year, he would ask for something significant. A certain minister's daughter, Vivian, wanted to join the court. Leo recalled that she was the one. She was the woman who would capture the king's heart. He was curious to meet her. He knew she was not as innocent as she appeared, but the king would adore her regardless. He loved her with a blinding passion. Perhaps it was time for Leo to request a transfer. What if Vivian took a dislike to him one day? The king might have his head removed. Julian's pen stopped moving. He turned to glance at Leo. His eyes were filled with an unreadable emotion. Then he gave a short, cold laugh. What was wrong with him today? He had looked at Leo so many times. Leo could not figure out what he had done to upset him. Julian called his name. Leo answered that he was present. The king said he was feeling tired. He suggested a walk in the rose garden. He stood up. Leo fell into step behind him. The weather was perfect that day. The sun was bright and warm. The seasonal flowers in the garden were in full bloom. As they approached the lake, they saw two beautiful women. It was Lady Isabel and Lady Renee. The fine weather had likely put Julian in a good mood. He watched the two women. Then he slowly approached the gazebo where they sat. They both rose and curtsied. Julian told them to be at ease. He sat down between the two of them. Leo stood nearby, ever watchful. Isabel commented on the beautiful spring blossoms. She said they paired perfectly with a pot of clear tea. She called the atmosphere very relaxing. Renee added that the king was busy with his duties, but she stressed that he must also take time to rest. Julian acknowledged their thoughtfulness. He said that harmony in his court was his greatest comfort. He took a sip of tea and nodded. He seemed to agree with his own assessment. Leo had to suppress another laugh. Harmony? He had seen these two women just moments before. They had been on the verge of a physical fight. They were arguing over the king's favor. One insulted the other's humble origins. The other mocked her rival's appearance. If Julian had been a moment slower, he would have witnessed it. The king choked on his tea. Leo swiftly handed him a handkerchief. His reaction was faster than that of the two ladies. It was a movement born of long habit. He had protected Julian since he was the crown prince. But protection often included taking care of him. He wouldn't have done it if the pay wasn't so good. The king was just as clumsy now as he was as a boy. Isabel used the opportunity to get closer. She asked if the king was all right. She was even more beautiful than Cassandra, but she had used strange remedies to enhance her appearance. Her skin was flawless, but her health was failing. These treatments were essentially slow-acting poisons. They could even affect those who were intimate with her. The poor king was completely unaware. The next second, Julian subtly shifted away from Isabel. Renee then moved closer. She had sharp eyes and thin lips. It was an unconventional but striking kind of beauty. She offered him a pastry from a small tray. She urged him to eat slowly. Julian gave Renee a small, appreciative smile. He took a pastry from the tray she offered. Leo knew she was one of the most ruthless women at court. She used poison to secure the king's favor. The pastry contained a small amount of an addictive drug. It was harmless in small doses, but repeated consumption would lead to dependency. Renee had used this trick before to gain a period of favor. Vivian would later expose her in the original story. Normally, Leo would test all of Julian's food, but he decided to let this slide. It would create a perfect chance for the heroine to save the day. The king would not punish him for this oversight later. Julian's hand froze with the pastry halfway to his mouth. The expression on his face was one of pure astonishment. Leo urged him on silently. He wanted him to taste the special treat from his devoted lady. It would be a memorable experience. Julian suddenly turned his head to look directly at Leo. The action startled Leo. His internal smirk vanished. He quickly adopted a very serious expression. Julian demanded to know why Leo had not tested the food. This was not how the story was supposed to go. He was supposed to eat it. If Leo tested it now, the entire plot would change. But Julian had given a direct order. He could not refuse. The drug was colorless and odorless. A silver needle would not detect it. Leo took a small bite of the pastry. He chewed it for a moment, then spat it out. He declared that the pastry was contaminated. He identified the drug within it by name. He explained its addictive properties. Hearing this, Renee's face went white. She fell to her knees before the king. She swore it was impossible. She claimed to be a simple woman. She would never use such poison against her king. She then shot a hateful glare at Leo. He was just following orders. He did not know her well. He wondered why she was looking at him. He thought that the king had simply gotten smarter. Julian ordered her to be taken away. He declared that Renee was guilty of attempted regicide. She was to be thrown into the dungeons. The decision was swift and decisive. This was a new side of Julian. Leo watched as a detached observer of the court's drama. Renee screamed that she was innocent. She begged the king for mercy. Her desperate cries echoed through the garden. Isabel looked on, completely stunned. Leo was just as confused. The plot seemed to have changed significantly. After Renee was imprisoned, her father knelt in the main hall. He swore on his life that his daughter was innocent. He was quickly proven wrong. Leo presented the powder found in Renee's chambers. He threw it at the feet of the aging minister. The man was speechless. This was a perfect opportunity to address another issue. The minister had embezzled nearly half of the disaster relief funds. Now his entire estate would be seized. All the stolen money would be returned. Julian sat on his high throne. His face was dark with anger. He commented on the minister's healthy appearance. He suggested the man might be hiding a fortune at home. Hearing this, the minister's face turned deathly pale. Julian ordered the royal treasurer to investigate. After the session, they returned to the study. Leo stood lazily behind the king. Julian had acted wisely. The recovered funds would help the people affected by the floods. He was a good ruler. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched Julian's lips. Leo did not pay much attention to it. The king's mind was a mystery. He was not a mind reader. Soon it was time for the autumn retreat. This was one of the few court activities Leo could enjoy. He was eager for it to begin. He had shown exceptional combat talent from a young age. The previous king had noticed this. He had Leo specially trained to protect the crown prince. His skills with a bow and horse were among the best. As Julian's personal guard, he had special privileges. He was allowed to sleep in the same cabin as the king. He was used to it. During the succession struggle, assassins were common. He had stayed by Julian's side constantly for protection. They had developed a bond of trust. They could rely on each other completely. The retreat began. Julian announced the rules. The person who caught the largest prey could ask for any reward. Many of the nobles were excited by this. Leo was among them. Just as he was about to set off, Julian stopped him. Leo wondered what the king wanted now. What if someone else caught the big prize? He was getting impatient. He wanted Julian to speak quickly. Despite his inner frustration, his face remained respectful. He asked what the king required. Julian said it had been years since he truly enjoyed the hunt. He wanted Leo to ride with him. Leo agreed. He silently fumed. If the king wanted to hunt, he should go alone. With Julian beside him, he would have to yield any prize. How could he win the reward then? He hid his frown from the king. He put on a cheerful expression. Julian seemed surprised for a moment. He mounted his horse. Then he challenged Leo to a race. He wanted to see who could get more prey. Leo was stunned. Julian smiled freely from horseback. The sunlight illuminated him. He looked like the powerful king he was. But for a moment, Leo saw the young prince again. The prince who had laughed with the same carefree spirit. He remembered the boy's challenge from long ago. The image of the prince and the king overlapped. He accepted the challenge. This way, he could still win the prize. Julian's riding skills were excellent. They galloped through the forest side by side. Leo spotted a deer behind some trees. It was drinking peacefully from a stream. He prepared to claim his prize. He drew his bow, taking careful aim. But an arrow whistled past him. It struck the deer in its side. He turned in shock to see Julian looking pleased. He had seen the deer first. The king had anticipated his move. He gritted his teeth and continued the hunt. By evening, they had both caught a similar amount of prey. The sun began to set. Everyone returned to the camp with their day's catch. Julian and Leo brought back so much prey. The others' hauls seemed meager in comparison. At the camp, Leo ate roasted meat. He listened to the ministers flatter the king. They praised Julian's undiminished skill. They said he was as sharp as ever. Leo thought they were just as sharp in other, less noble pursuits. Another said the meat tasted better because the king caught it. Leo found this ridiculous. The meat was probably undercooked. For some reason, Julian was in an exceptionally good mood. Leo could tell he was trying not to laugh. He was likely restraining himself in front of the ministers. The queen, Julian's wife, raised a glass to him. Leo recognized her. She was the source of the rumors about Julian's performance. They had been married for years without any sign of a child. This led many to believe the king was incapable. The thought made Leo laugh again. Julian's smiling face instantly darkened. Leo quickly pretended to be focused on his drink. He hoped he was not involved. After the queen's toast, Julian's mood soured. It remained poor until they returned to their cabin. Leo began to prepare Julian for bed. A thin screen separated them. Leo could vaguely see Julian's tall figure. He swallowed hard. It was strange. Julian spent his days at a desk. Yet he was in incredible physical shape. Leo was strong, but he lacked the same defined muscles. And he was shorter than Julian. It was infuriating. He joked to himself about usurping the throne. He was lost in thought. He did not hear the splashing of water stop. Julian suddenly emerged from behind the screen. He wore only a towel around his waist. Dark, wet hair dripped onto his shoulders. It had been a long time since Leo had seen him this close. He was handsome. Leo thought this but took a step back. He asked why the king had not called for him. Julian gave a small laugh. He pushed his wet hair back from his forehead. He said he had called Leo several times. When there was no response, he came out himself. Leo knew Julian well. He would not be angry over such a small mistake. Leo said he would help the king dress. He turned to get Julian's sleeping robes. The next moment, a shadow fell over him. Julian trapped him against the wardrobe. The space was suddenly very small. His mind went blank. The proximity of two men felt intimate. A meaningful smile played on Julian's lips. He asked Leo what kind of person he thought he was. The intimate atmosphere made the question jarring. Leo was startled. He thought something else was happening. He wondered if this was how the king interrogated people. He replied that the king was a wise ruler. He was beloved by his people. He slipped out of Julian's embrace. He retrieved the robes from the wardrobe. He thought Julian was a wise ruler, mostly. He was just a bit foolish and moody sometimes. And he had never given Leo a raise. He was also easily fooled by women. He was completely naive about matters of the heart. Julian's mouth twitched. He dried his hair with a towel. Later that night, they were in the same room. Leo was used to protecting Julian. He slept lightly. It was a tiring job. But Julian's reign was now stable. He probably would not need Leo for much longer. He could soon leave the court. He could travel the world. As he thought this, Julian suddenly sat up in bed. Leo was startled. He asked what was wrong. He quickly went to Julian's side. Julian's gaze was hard to read. Julian spoke of their time hunting that afternoon. It reminded him of their childhood. They lived and ate together back then. He also remembered the fight for the throne. He recalled how Leo slept in his bed to protect him. Leo was taken aback. He wondered why Julian was bringing this up now. He assured the king that those days were over. He was now the undisputed ruler. He did not have to live in fear anymore. But then Leo paused. He remembered that time more clearly. The palace was a place of hidden dangers. Julian was only 17 when he took the throne. The court was in turmoil. Many people died every day. Leo was the same age, but he had already killed to become Julian's guard. The young king was under immense pressure. The bloodshed gave him terrible nightmares. So the task of comforting him fell to Leo. Julian was terrified of being assassinated in his sleep. Even with Leo behind a screen, he was afraid. So Leo had to lie in the same bed with him. Only then could Julian find some peace. Even now, with the kingdom stable, the psychological scars remained. Occasionally, the nightmares would return. At those times, Leo would lie beside him. He would let Julian hold him until he calmed down. He told the king he was there. Then he lay down beside him on the bed. He found it strange. Julian had not had these nightmares for a long time. Perhaps the open wilderness had triggered something. He was so lost in thought. He did not notice the guilt in Julian's eyes. Julian spoke again. He said only Leo could calm his mind. He offered him more money. He asked if Leo would be willing to stay by his side forever. Leo looked at Julian's expectant face. He did not know how to answer. Only him? No, that would change once he met Vivian. In the story, she was the one who healed his trauma. He replied that if the king wished for him to stay, he would do so. He would fulfill his duties. Julian's eyes showed a flash of disappointment. It was quickly replaced by another emotion. Julian asked what Leo himself wanted. Leo was confused. What did he want? When Julian and Vivian got together, he would not stay. He did not want to watch their daily displays of affection. Despite his thoughts, he smiled. He said he was willing to stay. After he said it, Julian turned away with a grimace. Leo was baffled. He had no idea what he had said wrong. The king's mind was truly impossible to predict. The retreat continued for a few more days. Julian did not hunt with him again. Leo was free to do as he pleased. But he did not find any large prey. He was disappointed. At the final award ceremony, he was not interested. He did not care who had won. He sat drinking by himself. Then he heard a familiar voice call the king's name. He looked up sharply. It was his father. He had forgotten. His father was the kingdom's top general. He had been loyal to Julian since he was the prince. Of course, a military man would attend the retreat. He suddenly became interested. What reward would his father ask for? Jewelry? His mother already had plenty. Perhaps a raise for his son? That would be nice. Or maybe a vacation. He had been in the palace for so long. He suddenly felt a pair of eyes on him. Julian was squinting at him. Leo tilted his head in a questioning manner. The king was looking at him again. It was happening more frequently lately. As soon as he had the thought, Julian looked away. He asked the general what he desired. He promised to grant any request. His father knelt to the ground. He said he had only one wish. He then pointed directly at Leo. He stated that his son had served the king for many years. His only desire was to find a good wife for him. The entire assembly fell silent. Leo was shocked. A wife? For him? Did this mean he would leave Julian's side? Julian's hands, resting at his sides, clenched into fists. An inexplicable anger was on his face. He said Leo had been with him for years. He would arrange Leo's personal affairs himself. He told the general to choose another reward. His voice trembled slightly. Leo could tell he was genuinely angry. But why? Was arranging a marriage so difficult? Julian had countless women. Could Leo not have one wife? Was he trying to tie Leo to his side forever? But for what reason? His father wisely requested a set of coral ornaments. He did not mention Leo's marriage again. Back at the capital, the king met with his father. Then he met with Vivian's father, a senior advisor. Leo did not know what was said, but his father left looking delighted. The advisor, however, looked conflicted. A new selection of ladies for the court began. But this time, Julian seemed uninterested. He did not even attend. The queen chose a few to remain. Leo stood behind the king as usual. He watched him handle state affairs. Vivian should have arrived by now. He expected to meet her today. Julian's sleepless nights would soon be soothed by her. As his thoughts drifted, Julian slammed his pen on the desk. The sound made Leo and a nearby aide jump. What was his problem? It was startling. Julian gave him a complicated look. Then he ground out a few words. He wanted to go to the rose garden. Leo could not understand the drama. As the story foretold, they entered the garden. A beautiful young woman was admiring the flowers. It had to be Vivian. She was the advisor's daughter. The next second, Julian walked quickly towards her. Vivian saw his royal attire and was startled. She hurried to curtsy. Before she could finish, Julian stopped her. He gently took her arm. He asked if she was Vivian, the advisor's daughter. She seemed surprised that he knew her. She could only nod mutely. Julian asked if she would like to admire the flowers with him. Vivian's face lit up with joy. A charming smile revealed her small teeth. She agreed eagerly. She said it was an honor. Julian took her hand. They walked forward together. Leo and the others prepared to follow. But Julian stopped them. He said he wanted to be alone with Vivian. No one else was allowed to follow. He specifically included Leo in this order. He told him to return to the main residence and wait. Leo was stunned. He was not allowed to follow. Was this the power of the story's heroine? She had captured the king's heart instantly. He should be happy. He would finally be free from his duties. But for some reason, his heart ached. His heart seemed to stop for a moment. Something disturbed the calm surface of his emotions. He subconsciously asked why. He regretted the question immediately. He said he had overstepped. He asked the king to punish him. Julian glanced at him kneeling on the ground. He spoke coldly. He said it was nothing. He told Leo to go back. But he warned him not to be caught following. Leo remained frozen on the spot. He forgot to respond. This was the first time Julian had ever spoken to him like that. Julian did not return that afternoon. For the first time in years, Leo felt a strange turmoil inside him. An aide came to deliver a message. The king would not be returning tonight. He told Leo to go and rest. Leo acknowledged the message and dismissed him. The candles were extinguished, but he remained seated in the dark room. Time passed slowly. The moonlight streamed in. Previously, Julian would return from a consort's room by midnight. But midnight had long passed. He was still not back. Leo knew the truth. Julian's interactions with other women were an act. He had been by his side for years. He knew the king's body was fine. The rumors were a deception. They were meant to confuse the ministers. It reduced the pressure to produce an heir. He looked at the bright moon outside the window. Tears began to fall from his eyes. He did not understand why. He knew this would happen. With Vivian here, he could finally leave. Why was he so miserable? As he sat lost in thought, the door creaked open. The person who entered was Julian. Their eyes met. Leo quickly wiped away his tears. Julian was shocked to see him crying. He immediately pulled Leo into his arms. He asked what had happened. It was a reasonable reaction. In all his years, Leo had never cried. Not during brutal training. Not with broken bones. But now, in the king's own rooms, in the dead of night, he was weeping. Leo pushed away from Julian's embrace. He stood at a respectful distance. He told the king it was nothing. He could not say he was crying because of Vivian. He could not admit his heart hurt. Now that his replacement had arrived, he should just leave. The next moment, Julian grabbed his hand. He was caught off guard. He was pulled onto the bed. Julian braced his hands on either side of Leo's head. He blocked out the moonlight. Leo's heart began to beat wildly. He did not know what to think. Julian told him not to leave. Leo was confused. He did not understand why Julian would say that. He asked why the king did not want him to leave. His heart pounded like a drum. He watched Julian's handsome face move closer. He did not know what to do. Julian's face was inches from his own. The king's unique sandalwood scent filled his senses. He said it was because he loved him. He had loved him for a very long time. His cheeks grew hot. Love. It was a foreign word. In all his life, he had never heard it spoken to him. And now it came from the most powerful man in the kingdom. Their breaths mingled in the small space between them. Julian's kiss landed on his lips. He had the strength to push him away. The kiss was so gentle, so tentative, but he did not want to push him away. Started as a light touch. When Leo did not resist, Julian deepened the kiss. Leo wrapped his arms around Julian's neck. Julian froze for a second. Then the kiss became more passionate. That night, Leo learned the truth about Julian's abilities. He was, by personal experience, very capable. The next day, he slept late for the first time. When he woke, the space beside him was cool. He tried to get out of bed. His body ached and he nearly fell. Julian appeared just in time to catch him. They had been intimate last night. He and the king. Julian said he loved him, and he had not rejected him. He did not know what to think. Julian just held him, smiling gently. He said Leo could sleep longer. They had been up late. Leo felt his face burn. He stammered the king's title. Julian said that Leo had also confessed his love. Leo did not remember that at all. Julian had a wicked smile. He said Leo had been delirious at the time. His face grew even redder. Julian offered to help him remember. He pushed him back onto the bed. Just as he was about to continue, a knock came at the door. An aide announced the queen wished to see the king. The interruption brought Leo back to his senses. He quickly hid his face under the covers. He had almost forgotten to resist again. Julian chuckled softly. He patted Leo's head through the blanket. The queen? What did she want? Did she know about them? He did not know what Julian went to do. He only knew he returned very late that night. In the following days, Julian seemed to be hiding something. Whenever Leo tried to follow, he was given an excuse. One time, he secretly followed him. He found Julian in Vivian's residence. So what was he? A momentary whim? But then he reconsidered. Julian's court was full of women. Even if they had been intimate, he could not be kept like a wife. They were still king and subject. Their relationship could not go further. The king was just as ruthless as he had always thought. He would leave secretly. Julian could have his life with his ladies. He turned away in a huff, but Julian came up behind him. He rested his head in the crook of Leo's neck. He told him to attend the morning assembly with him tomorrow. Leo thought it was just a normal assembly. He was completely wrong. Julian made an announcement. He was abolishing the harem. He would spend his life with Leo and Leo alone. The entire court was stunned, except for Leo's father and Vivian's father. Everyone else shared his shocked expression. He looked at Julian on the throne. The king was looking back at him with deep affection. His gaze made Leo blush. His father was the first to speak. He declared the king's decision wise. He controlled the military. His approval carried weight. Another minister objected strongly. He argued that Leo was a man. He questioned how the public would react. He asked about the matter of an heir. The senior advisor immediately refuted him. He said it was the king's decision. He must have his reasons. Leo wondered what Julian had done to convince him. Julian leaned back on his throne. He stated that he was incapable. He asked why else the harem had been childless for years. He said it as if it were a simple fact. If Leo had not experienced it himself, he might have believed it. But Julian was far from incapable. He simply had no interest in women. After a fierce debate, most of the ministers relented. They believed no king would lie about his own virility. A few days later, the harem was disbanded. The ladies were sent back to their families. And Leo learned the whole story. The queen and Julian had planned this for a long time. The queen longed for a life of freedom. She did not want to be trapped in the palace. The king only wanted to be with Leo. So they worked together. The queen managed the ladies' departures. Julian got the support of his two most loyal ministers. The meeting with Vivian in the garden was also planned. But it was to discuss the dissolution of the harem. That night, Julian found Leo crying alone. It confirmed Leo's feelings for him. Leo lay in Julian's arms, listening to the explanation. He was shocked. Julian had truly done all this for him. He asked if he was worth such a sacrifice. Julian brushed a stray hair from his forehead. He asked if Leo's life was worth risking for him to become king. Leo said that was different. It was his duty. Before he could finish, Julian silenced him with a kiss. He told Leo that he was worth it. The curtains around the bed fell closed. The room was filled with an air of romance. In a haze, he remembered his first time meeting Julian. He was 13 years old, a young boy with an innate regal air. The sun was shining that day. He smiled and greeted Leo. He asked if he was his new protector. The young prince introduced himself as Julian. Leo replied that his name was Leo. Now, in the depths of their passion, their words and hearts aligned. He whispered that he loved Julian, and he heard the same words whispered back to him.